Well, I'm coming to Dallas in May, I can tell you that. The only thing standing between you and the obliteration of your under siege Second Amendment is me. I'm the only thing. Anybody else, you wouldn't have your guns right now. You know, they started with the ammunition, you know that. They couldn't do the guns with me, so then they started getting rid of the ammunition. People said, I have a gun, I can't get ammunition. We took care of that very quickly. If Joe Biden is reelected, your gun rights will be gone. They'll be totally gone. You know, the sad part of that is the bad guys aren't giving up their guns. The bad guys aren't. But the good people aren't giving up their guns either, because there's never going to be anybody that's going to be asking for your gun. And when I'm reelected, every single Biden attack on gun owners and manufacturers will be terminated my very first week back in office, perhaps my first day. And every pledge, and your officers will tell you this, every pledge I made to you as a candidate, I fulfilled as your president, every single pledge. Just as I promised back in 2016, I appointed nearly 300 pro-Constitution judges to interpret the law as written. I faced down vile attacks from the radical left to confirm 3 great Supreme Court justices. They're great justices. And standing before you at the NRA Leadership Forum in 2019, I revoked America's signature from the globalist United Nations Arms Trade Treaty, where basically they take your guns. Sir, they said, you can't do that, sir. All countries are signing that. Well, number one, all countries didn't sign, and most of the countries that signed didn't adhere to it anyway, but we would have. I said, no, we're not doing it. Even the NRA officers were surprised at that one. I stood up for our hunters, fishers, and sportsmen like no one has ever done before, opening up millions and millions of acres of federal land and rolling back Obama's assault on hunting, fishing, trapping, and ammunition. Obama was brutal. Obama was brutal. Biden happened to be along for the ride. I think maybe that's still happening, isn't it, huh? You know, whenever I say, you're President Barack Hussein Obama, they say, oh, he doesn't know who the president is. No. It's bad to be sarcastic with this group. When I do an imitation of him not being able to find the stairs, see how many stairs? We've got about 5 of them. I do an imitation, I go home, my wife said, darling, our great First Lady, by the way, we have a great First Lady. But I do an imitation, and I go home, she says, darling, you couldn't find the stairway out? No, it was an imitation. The fake news makes it sound like I couldn't find my way off the stage. When I mention certain names, they are the worst. They are the worst, but hopefully someday they'll learn. You know, to make our country great, we have to have a fair and free press. It's very important. We need that. We need fair and free elections, and we need strong borders. We have to have strong, and we're going to have all of them. We had them just a little while ago, 3 years ago, like nobody's ever had them before. When the radical left Democrats tried to use COVID to shut down gun sales during the China virus pandemic, I proudly designated gun and ammunition dealers as critical infrastructure. Did you know I did that? Does anybody know I did that? Do you know the heat? Do you know the heat I took? Does anybody know the heat? I said gun dealers are critical infrastructure. That's an interesting one. But it worked. We kept those places open. I think maybe more than anybody in the world, gun dealers, they do like Donald Trump. They're in business. No, they want to shut them down. They used COVID. They tried to use COVID to shut them down. My administration also petitioned the Supreme Court to overturn New York City's unconstitutional ban on transporting handguns outside of the home. You have people walking on the streets with handguns that want to do bad things, and you had to keep your handgun at home. And to people that don't understand the industry and the gun world, They might think that sounds tough. It's not tough. It's really a survival. It's really we have 700 million guns out there, and not all of them are had by very innocent people. And in a landmark case 2 years ago, the court affirmed that the right to self-defense does not end when you step outside the front door of your house. That was all things that we got together. But under crooked Joe Biden, your Second Amendment is again under siege. You know that. Biden has implemented a vicious zero-tolerance policy. Do you know what that is? It's not good. That revokes the license of independent firearms dealers if they make a single minor error, little tiny error, they're out of business. He imposed the so-called pistol brace rule, which orders law-abiding citizens to register or surrender guns with certain equipment. You know that. Many of you are forced to do it. I don't know. Is everybody doing it as per their demand? Who in this group has done it? There's a hand way back there. By the way, this is a hell of a big building and it's packed. This is a big building. This is a big... This place is packed. A lot of people outside, too, trying to get in. Arena, big arena. And now Biden is trying to ban all private gun transfers in the United States with the stroke of a pen. Let's ban them all. Under a Trump administration, all of those Biden disasters get ripped up and torn out. My first week, but maybe my first day in office, okay? Maybe my first. You know, on Inauguration Day, did you ever see, you have the beautiful stairs of the Capitol behind you. You're speaking in front of thousands and thousands of people, millions of people watching. But on the way out, you walk up a massive, like this, a massive flight of stairs. And I'm thinking about, you know, I said a few times, I said, I'm going to do my first thing in the Oval Office. Well, the Oval Office is sort of far away. You have to walk up the stairs, and then you have to walk quite a distance, and then you have to go downstairs, around corners. It takes you a long time. I'm thinking about doing this. If we win, a lot of people say when. No, you can never say when. You know what? You always have to say if. We have to work hard to win. I don't like to jinx anything. I say if we win, we gotta win. You gotta win, but if we win. Or we could maybe make a minor change. We'll call it if and when. If and when we win. I'm thinking about putting a desk somewhere on those stairs up. I'm gonna have a desk. And I'm going to have a lot of papers in those desks, and a lot of them are going to have to do with you and what you love and what you respect. And we're going to knock out everything maybe before I get to the Oval Office. That'll look strange, won't it? We finish a nice speech to this incredible crowd, goes all the way down to the Washington Monument. We had some crowd, I'll tell you. But it goes all the way down, and I'll be speaking, they'll say, that's strange. There's a desk about 12 stairs up. You got probably 100. What is that desk doing there? And it might look strange, but it's not going to be strange when I start signing those things. But we're going to knock it out. We're going to knock it out fast. And it is true, when the NRA endorsed me, you know, I said I was going to do, but I was in the real estate business, and I was in business generally. We did great. But when I said it, a lot of people didn't really believe the things I was able to do for the gun owners and for a lot of other people, too, outside of the gun world. But we did every single thing and more, and it was my honor to do it. Incredible people. Incredible people. On day one, we will sack the radical gun grabber, Steve Dettelbach. Did you ever hear of Steve Dettelbach? Do you know who the hell he is? And we're going to replace him with an ATF director who respects the sacred right to keep and bear arms.